Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this week's episode of Bike Chat. Jonah DiPasquale with you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. As I said, also my co-host, Gunnar Soros, again, cyclist, craft beer lover, also runs up a great show on Tuesday nights that you definitely want to check out called Craft Beer Blab. We had a lot of fun this past week. We were talking about barley wine and well, let's just say I need to keep working on that pour. So again, it's been an exciting week here in the U.S. or upstate New York, I should say. Certainly looks like, Gunnar, you were experiencing winter last week, and it definitely looks like, winter is upon us now here in New York State. So very cold. We have some snow on the ground now, but Gunnar, how are you, my friend? It is always good to see you. What's new?
Well, and you'll be getting this in a couple of days. There was a little warm up today, so we got above freezing. So I decided to go out instead of riding in my basement on rollers. I decided to go out for an actual road bike ride out on the roads, and it was great. It was nice.
Bravo, bravo. Very good.
You gotta take it while you can.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit surreal when you can actually take your workout from inside to outside. And as I said, everyone or many of the audience that's tuning in now can probably relate to this. You get sort of in that dungeon or the pain cave or the basement or whatever you want to know, and it becomes very mentally draining. I don't know about you, but if I can ride longer than an hour in my basement, that is saying something. I don't think there's enough hours of YouTube videos, Netflix or Vimeo clips that'll keep me occupied. But hey, we've had some really crazy things going on this week in Hop Topics, and I know that our Twitter airwaves, in terms of the exchange of information, we're kind of burning up. Well, how about that legislation that is being passed about the bike flag? Did you catch that?
That is pretty amazing. And I mean, you can Google it or you can find it basically on Twitter, but I'll just throw up the link that I found just recently. But it's insane that somebody would want to, okay, well, let's step back. So what is this legislation that we're talking about? Somebody is it in Missouri? In the state of Missouri.
Yes.
Recommending or wanting a law passed that bicyclists will have to have a flag, a fluorescent flag that is 15 feet up in the air. I mean, there's just so many imagery that comes to my mind of how ridiculous this is.
Right. Well, again, it's actually it's a Missouri state representative. It is Jay Houghton. We're going to say it because he's been prominently all over the airwaves. And since I've tweeted this out, I found quite a bit of traffic. It is House Bill number 2046. It is as follows: operating upon you must say operating upon a lettered county road or rural highway, the flag needs to be clearly visible from the rear and the front, suspended no less than 15 feet. And that is insane. And some of the members of the community have rebutted, saying that again, the side note, many bridge clearances would create a hazard, especially when the flag would be operated around above ground electric utilities.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just I don't know, man. It's insane. I mean, how. And then another side note. Apparently, this particular state rep dislikes children and old people. So I don't know. I does. I did. I did.
See, I
So,
didn't see that part, but
yeah. Yeah.
obviously, yeah, he doesn't like bicyclists or children or old people.
No, no. I just I don't know what to say, but I think that well I did dig a little bit deeper into it, and for
Okay.
the audience out there, if you want to go ahead and search it, please click the link that Gunnar was nice enough to supply. It does not look like the bill is going to go anywhere, but I guess the reality of what I'm trying to say is that why in the world would somebody actually take the time
Right.
to go ahead and do that? I would say that I hope that this does not reflect what the rest of the states are looking at. But Clint, yeah, yeah, Jurgen,
Yeah.
Jurgen's got his commentary on that exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the major hop topic that I had of the evening that I wanted to put out there that was really kind of resonating. But what else you got in the queue?
Well, the only thing I got is an update. Last week, I had talked about a fundraiser that our local cycling group was putting on, and part of that was that if we raise the most money against these other communities,
Okay.
then we'll get a $3,000 grant from 45 North, who makes some awesome
Oh,
winter
nice.
bicycling gear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So to update, the time frame passed. It ended on Monday.
Okay.
We raised a total, and this is without their input, just on our own in the community. And anybody that donated online, we raised almost $7,500, which is
Nice.
awesome. So then, when you add in the $3,000 that 45 North will put in, because it looks like
Okay.
we'll be the winners of it,
Nice.
that's $10,000 for grooming equipment and trail maintenance for winter mountain biking at the parks that we have here in town. So I think it's great. It's a great job by anyone that donated, and I thank everyone that listened to me last week. And if you donated, thumbs up. And it's going to bring a lot of money to our trails, and
Yeah.
hopefully that shows that our community has a lot of input and a lot of vision
Yeah.
to possibly build more trails in the future.
Well, now one of the other things too that I wanted to point out is that you had put up a couple links, and I guess you're there's a very specific type of trail maintenance type of device. It sort of, I guess, for those folks that may not be familiar with it, it was sort of like a kind of like a walk behind like snowmobile track that packs down the trails, which makes the trails much more accessible to the newer norm of these fat bikes and things like that. Oh, there's the link there, that GoFundMe site. Check that out. But so that's part of that, I take it.
Right. So I think these machines run about, I want to say $5,000, and I'll try to find. I think I can throw up an image and throw that in there and there, and let me move it over. So it looks like that, and it's kind of like a snowmobile that you can walk behind, or in the case of this picture, they actually have like a small little sled behind. And so, and like you said, what it does is it kind of churns up the snow, and then it packs it down. And then if you are in an area where you can do the little sled behind it, your body weight will pack it down even more. So
Nice.
it'll make for a great riding surface in the winter, in addition to making the trails a little bit better during the summer, that there's a little bit of traffic on the trails. And so it'll, especially some of our trails are still new. They were just built this fall.
Yeah.
It'll help to pack that down too. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Nice. And I know that based on a couple. Well, I think last week you had tried to make a run on those trails, and having the snow natural snow unpack, and you can check out that replay. But again, for the audience, it looked like it was very very cumbersome in that you saw quite a bit of the snow built up in your wheels, and I know I've been there from experience, and hike a bike is not very fun. I mean, I guess it's okay if it is a small segment of the trail. But I think, to your point, up here, the perception of what the trail conditions were going to be like, what they actually were, probably was a little bit frustrating. I mean, I think that once you got to an area where I saw, where there was some footpath and should say, some foot traffic, it was a little bit easier to navigate. So That's great. Hats off to you guys. I mean, again, congratulations. And I think that my overall take on this the latest movement of fat bikes, snow bikes, whatever you want to call them, I have to say it is definitely pulled a number of newer consumers into this cycling world that I don't necessarily think would have normally been there. I think the tradition is, when it's nice out, I will ride my bike. And, once it gets cold, I will not ride my bike, or I will ride inside. So, most people are conditioned, at least here in the Northeast, and again, some of the regions where winter is very prevalent, cycling kind of dies down. Or if you're of the norm like myself and you, it's a challenge to get out there and ride the bike, and I find that these particular bikes and these particular opportunities will certainly open up more doors. So that's really exciting. Awesome. So hey, listen, that was our hop tips of the night. Folks, listen, if you are just tuning in now, welcome to Bike Chat. This week's show, very exciting. We have Thomas Champagne of Stravistix. He's with us. Gunnar Soros, your co-host. He's the host with the most. Gave him a follow. And again, folks, don't forget, please share this out. Tell a bird. You can conveniently share this with your Twitter community, or also conveniently on Facebook. Thank you, Gunnar, for putting that up. And by the way, if you do have any questions in the message board, again, down in the right corner, if you do /Q, that is a question. Therefore, we can be sure to answer your question accordingly. All right, listen, I'm going to get into now my tech tip of the week. I know that a lot of folks out there choose to ride their bikes, and they find that it is sometimes the commute to work or coming home from work, it is not quite optimal lighting. I want to show you something that I have that is very valuable, and it is nothing top secret. This is actually called a rear flasher. Again, as far as US dollars, they do not cost very much, but I want to illustrate. I'm not going to shine this at the camera, but you can actually see that this does offer some visibility. Now, what you don't understand is that if you are an automobile operator and you're driving a car, as far as being a cyclist, your profile, you fit right into again the overall view, and it becomes very difficult for again automobile operators to see you. Now, I know that I'm a cyclist. I'm also obviously an automobile operator, and I'm of the adage where if I do see somebody and I know they don't have a light, I still give them the benefit of the doubt. But again, it is without question probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Also, again, if you don't have a place to put it, it can actually clip on your jersey. It can clip on your pack or your bag. But again, please, if you're going to be riding your bike in the off season and you find yourself in those situations, this is a great value. That is your tech tip. The rear flasher light is something that is a very good value. So really, there's a number of manufacturers out there. We're not really going to name names or brands, but Gunnar, why don't we get right into it? Yep, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, great, perfect. So. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're just tuning in now, thank you so much. My name is Jonah DePasquale. I am the host of Bike Chat every Thursday at 9 p.m. With me, my co-host, Gunnar Soros, again, cyclist, craft beer lover. We have the man of the hour getting up at a bold time frame of 3 a.m. Overseas in France. So, brave man. I was watching some of the email conversations going on between both Gunnar and yourself, Thomas. And first of all, thank you so much for joining us. And audience, if you're not giving him props for the fact that the poor man is up at 3 o'clock in the morning and talking to us everywhere in the States, Thomas, welcome to Bike Chat. And my friend, I should say good night, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. It's quite hard for me at the moment, but when I will speak, I think I will well wake up.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, it's a pleasure to do that. It's something positive and constructive for me. That's why I'm here at 3 a.m. in the morning.
That's amazing. Thank you. Now I have to show my cards and tell you that without question, Gunnar is your go-to for this conversation because I originally was on Strava. I think a number of years back when it started. Big fan of it. Had a lot of personal best and those kind of things, and then I sort of lost interest. But when Gunnar and I had connected, I find he's very well entrenched in this. In fact, I always allude to him as the bicycling techno geek, if you will, because he really has a better handle on that. So, Thomas, how if you could tell us the story, how did you come about this whole concept of Stravistix and get that integrated to make it a much more positive interface with the end users?
Okay. First of all, I wasn't a true road cyclist 4 years ago. Clearly, I didn't understood the interest of road cycling. Why cyclists decided to suffer on a hill. The Tour de France was for me sleeping aid to had a nap in July. I'm doing some sarcasm. And I always been attracted by extreme sports, generally, skateboarding, freestyle skiing, mountain bike, downhill. And a day, I decided to put some slack tires on a hot cross-country bike for my summer skiing training. And I got the virus of road cycling. Now I have 2 carbon spades, 2 carbon bike in my garage. That's the story of me about how I entered in road cycling.
Nice.
So I'm a geek. I'm. I will tell a bit about me. So my name is Thomas Champagne. Yes, like the beverage. And I'm 20 years old. I'm living in mountains, so that's why I'm often on skis. And formerly I was a network engineer. Now I'm a computer science engineer, and I work for a big company. It's a worldwide network provider. I'm doing some web front-end and back-end as a developer. I'm also Android developer and 3D app developer. And the main sport I practiced the last year was road cycling.
Nice.
And based on my profile, I always like to know to measure, to put some metrics on what I do on everything, I should say, but especially in with a bike. And I decided to use. I tried a lot of lot of sports tracking platform, and the best one I found was Strava.
Mm-hmm.
And the plugin came from frustration I got from Strava and other sites, because the informations I could read from Strava, for example, or other sites, were insufficient or irrelevant. I will give you an example later if you need an example.
Mm-hmm.
And these information were sometimes poorly returned, or sometimes dispatched on one on Strava, one on Garmin Connect, one on Endomondo, one on Runkeeper, etc., etc., etc. And all these combinations forced me to use multiple tools, which is not a convenient way for me. So with my development skills, between quotes, I decided to put them all in one place with a plugin over Strava, because Strava is addictive. They have built around the simple ID something big. Yes, I'm addicted to the segments, to be the first to get the com, to have the king of mountain, and it gave me the motivation. It gave me the motivation on top with my bike. So that's the story.
Nice.
Of why I decided to create this plugin, and I decided also to share it on the web.
Nice.
How long ago did you start developing it?
How long? I started to work on in August 2014.
Okay.
And I've when you say how long you expect an amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I already tried to reply to vacation by myself. And it's hard to measure, but I would say it's over 300 hours of work. But it could be also 400.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Maybe 5. It's 100 of hours.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure. I am very sure that it takes a lot of time, and I do have to thank you for putting this out there, because I think I've been using it for about a year now, and I find it very useful for myself. And I'm not professional. I'm not serious. I don't race, but I like to see all the data. I like to see all the charts. I like to see my heart rate distribution zones and know that, okay, I spent, well, like today on my ride, it was 50 minutes long, but I know that I spent 30 minutes in zone 4 heart rate. And so it was actually a pretty hard ride. So, and I can look at it and I can quantify it and I can say, yes, this was a hard ride because I spent this amount of time. And
right.
your trim zone output is great. I use that. Just really good stuff.
Yes, the idea behind the plugin was also to vulgarize some metrics which are specific to cycling, and some metrics which I wasn't aware of when I made the plugin.
Mm-hmm.
So when I made the plugin, I discovered some metrics by myself too, and this helped me to retransmit and vulgarize those metrics. And as a cyclist, some are meaningful, some are totally useless, I know, and that's the fact I have put them too. For example, the crank revolution count of a ride. It's completely useless, but it's cool to get the figure. And that's the idea. I wanted to give a new tool to measure your ride with metrics you may don't be aware of. I don't know if I'm clear or not.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, no, you're clear. I understand. Yeah, there's some metrics that, one, everybody is different too. So, you know, the metrics that I'm looking at and find interesting, you know, somebody like Jonah or Jürgen Benecke may not find interesting. So it all depends on the person. But I like that you put it in a way, and also the fact that you have it charted out so that some of the information is very easy to understand.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the site, and they're talking about a TRIMP stress score.
Yes.
What is what? And I know what is TRIMP stress score, and how does that relate to Strava?
The TRIMP is an abbreviation. It stands for training impulse. So it's an impulsion of training.
Okay.
Basically, it's a score which represents the amount of earth stress during an activity. So the longer you ride at a full total, the more the score is higher. So training impulse is a way to model the athletic performance. And this concept has been introduced by a doctor, Dr. Eric Bannister. And I use his equation into the plugin. So it's correlated with the Strava Suffer score. Figures are not the same, but there is a correlation between both scores. The Strava Suffer score is also based on the same principles of Eric Bannister. So it's pretty useful to know if the impact of an activity you have done, for example, today, will have a good impact of your fitness later. That's the idea. You have impulsion, and this drops down with days. If you get a better impulsion, your fitness grow up like this. If you are doing nothing, it's dropped down.
Right, nice.
So
nice.
Make sure you have training impulse. It's the idea, impulse of training. And if you are a Strava Premium, you have a graph only for Strava Premium user. You have a graph
nice.
with a fitness and freshness, and this graph, which represents your fitness or freshness from a power meter or a rate monitor, if you choose only a fret monitor, you will see the tuning impulse, and it's draw a graph of your fitness.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Well, and to add on to that a little bit, a lot of power meter users, they use, what is it, training stress score, TSS, and they'll chart out their fitness using power scores. And what TRIMP does is it takes your heart rate score and it gives it a score, and then you can chart your training, your fitness and freshness charts that way. So it gives, for people like myself that I'm not going to be getting a power meter. I didn't win the Powerball, so I'm not getting a power meter anytime soon. But I have a lot of heart rate data, and so I can use that in very much the same way. It's not always exactly the same, but it's close enough for probably a majority of cyclists to know.
Well, that was my question. How I know a couple of my colleagues have asked me that. Thomas, how accurate is that metric of wattage? I mean, is it, to Gunner's point, he was commenting if I had a power meter on my bike, measuring the actual wattage versus going off of I guess virtual statistics. How would they compare?
Your question is how accurate are the metrics which are shown into the plugin?
Right. Yes.
They are, I will say, they are accurate for sure.
Nice. No, that's good to know.
Because it's always it's just math and scripting algorithm.
Right.
I don't. I'm not sure I have the right word in English. Fine. I think I have a right word, but I'm not sure. I have the good accent. But it's all on algorithm.
Yeah.
Algorithm. Yes.
Yeah. Algorithm.
Yes.
Understand. Yeah.
And math.
Yep.
So, of course, a bug could occur, but if the loop on your stream, when I say stream, it's the stream of your data, speed, pace, F rate, power.
Yep.
When a loop is done on all your samples, and if the algorithm is done well and respects the equation, for example, from the Dr. Eric Bannister for the tuning impulse,
right,
there is no way to get wrong results.
Nice.
Sometimes we could have some error. For example, some users may use different GPS, GPS to get and have on the same path of an activity different elevation data. Right. That's the case if you are tracking, for example, with a friend. You have a Garmin device with a friend.
Yeah.
We have a Garmin device. Mm-hmm. You record with a Garmin device, and the friend has the Strava Android app. The altitudes recorded will not be the same. So when the altitude data is processing by the same algorithm, the result could be not correlated. So the plugin includes some altitude smoothing, for example. There is some sample smoothing to avoid this, to make sure the results are corrected. So error, of course, could occur from bugs, but also from the user's data.
Right. Interesting. And
Right.
and I was reading some of the reviews, and it's just very, gleaming reviews, very positive. Let's see, for example, one writer reads out, so much richer than just Strava. I really appreciate the data you've extracted, and the way you display it. Very helpful and motivating. That was from a gentleman by the name of Scotty Bingham. Also, let's see, Rick Liang says, great extension, useful stats, and very smooth integration. So looks like, I mean, obviously to Gunnar, your point, again, obviously having been an end user for quite a while, it seems to me, Thomas, that not very many people know of this extension, and I'm not sure why that is. As I said, I know many friends and many colleagues that do use Strava, but I was talking about this show in specific, and a lot of my friends were kind of like, well, what is Stravistix? I don't know, I don't understand. And after listening to what this plugin has to offer, even just talking to Gunnar about it, it certainly seems like it does allow the end user to really scale, the amount of information that they do have readily available to them. So I think it's a great service that you're offering. Now, also too, it's on your site. It's something where you're asking folks to donate and help out. Is that something that you're still working through to the process with? Is that correct, or is that something you're done with, or what?
So the question is, could you reword your question about? You are speaking about donation.
I don't.
That's it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Thomas. I thought I saw you were in some of the comments. They were suggesting to donate to Stravistix. Was that when you were trying to raise money to develop the app, or are you no longer doing that?
I try to get funds for future features because I need to pay for service. It depends. I could provide a service for future feature for free, but the extension is working well. I have, I think, a lot of users, and I will be. I had to get funds for pay service, for pay for service, for example, OpenShift of Red Hat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The idea behind is not to provide a low bad service or low computing service behind the new feature I need. I want to do. This new feature come from my mind. I could speak about if you ask me to speak about, and the money goes here.
Right.
Donation are not important too. It's always good to receive donation from people because it's of course some people are very exciting about the extension or very thankful about, but when you receive money, it's just it's more than a gift. You know that you help at them,
Mhm.
and it's
Excellent.
very present. And of course, motivation is on top when you receive when
Hi, Thomas. I'm sorry to
Hi.
butt in. I just wanted to say hi quick because you were like, "Who is this other person?" Probably, right? So, my name's Jürgen. How you doing?
fine, and you.
Very good. Sorry. Carry on. I had a question. How many users do you have currently?
Oh, it's a relevant question. I have I don't know all the total amount of users because I didn't put the
But it's like, you know the amount of downloads then probably. That's how it goes.
I will give you some metrics. Approximately, I have 10,000 of unique users per day,
Oh, really?
Wow.
and I have still approximately
So
200.
how many users are there on Strava? Like, do you know the number for that? Like, how many Strava users are there? Like, does anybody know? Anybody know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I wonder because it seems to like everybody and their mother is on Strava.
Right.
There's a road in New York City that's like the road that you ride on. And if you just, it's on the Palisades, like next to the Hudson River. And if you're just going on a cruise and you have your Strava on, you're going to be like in, I don't know, 9,000th position or something something ridiculous. And there's like a gazillion sections and segments and all this stuff. It's insane.
So, Jürgen, according to Reddit, Strava has about 192,000 premium users, 1.2 million active users, and other revelations from statistical sampling. And that was according to its /r/Strava.
It's a lot of bicycle people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Well, and you get the Stravistix plugin from the Chrome store, and according to the Chrome store, I just saw it. According to the Chrome store, there's 34,000 users of just the plugin.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's got.
I will explain this figure.
Yeah.
In fact, this is not the number of download.
Uh-huh.
At the beginning, I thought it was, but few months later, I understood that this figure is the unique users over a week. So my total amount of users could be 50,000 users.
Wow.
But each or more or less, I don't know.
Right.
I did not measure that. But what I know, each week from Google, from the figure you are able to see on the Chrome store, this figure is the total amount of unique user over a week, over each week.
I gotcha.
I think it's always the last 7 days.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense. That makes sense.
Right.
Wow.
Well, so then if you don't log into Strava for a couple of weeks, like if you take a couple of weeks off, then your logins don't show up and all that kind of stuff. So, wow. Well, still, that's a huge amount of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Thomas, do you have plans to offer a premium level of your service eventually, or right now it's just it is what it is?
No, I don't think. I don't think. The the extension should stay free, and no ads into no ads into the extension. Some ads agency contacted me a lot of time to put some ads into the extension. I had this. I struggle that.
Yeah, I bet.
It's awful. I understand people who need to put some ads, but I have a job on. I have a real job every day on, and I'm able to eat with that job. I don't need to put some ads on a product on the plugin. I don't want to lose some users
Sure.
with ads.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that's not the idea, because when I put this when I decided to do that, I will explain. When I decided to do that, I wanted to have a plugin open source.
Mm-hmm.
I put the project on GitHub.com.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know what is GitHub. Basically, GitHub is a social coding network, and project is on this platform, and every people is able to fork my project, add some feature they want or might find missing.
Okay. Yep.
And my work is free. Their work are free too.
Nice.
When they have done something, they can send me, and I can put it in a new release. It's all is done in a constructive way, and in my opinion, ads have no place here.
Right.
Nice.
I don't want to, and I'm sure I can get more with donation, because people find this cool without ads, by having ads into the extension. I'm not sure if I well explained my what I had in mind.
Right.
I'm not sure it's clear.
So I think what you're saying is that to allow it to be open source, part of being open source, I believe, as from what I understand, open source, part of being open source is no ads, and then that allows you to open it up on GitHub for people that have their own ideas of what they want to add to it. If they know how to program and code, they can add things to it and try it out. And if you approve it and that type of thing, then you can put it into a future release.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And so if you put ads in, it'll probably take away from that experience or that part of it.
Awesome. Hey, Thomas, Frank Clark chimes in and wanted to know, does it track elevation?
Yes. It doesn't track elevation directly. Strava app or your GPS is tracking elevation, but we compute the extension, the plugin computes your elevation data to show you up some metrics about.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Well, that man, that was a quick hour. Certainly, was amazing to learn more about your efforts. And Thomas, thank you so much for your time. And I have to
Thanks to
say,
you.
it is amazing how much that you can get done in a single day. Now you're telling us you also have a normal, regular daily job, plus you're
Yes.
dealing with Stravistix. So hopefully you are you single? Are you married? You've got kids, or it's just yourself? Because
I'm single.
Okay.
I'm single.
good. All right. Well,
But,
that makes sense. Okay, because I was gonna say,
but
man, if you were gonna
it's
tell me,
probably for for this reason I'm able to do it as a night project.
right?
Right.
No, I completely understand that. Um,
When we will get no release from me, it would mean it's a good point for me. Maybe I'm not single anymore.
Right. Yeah, that would be good. Wow. Do
Absolutely.
you have anything interesting for the plugin? Anything you're working on that you want to talk about for in the future, like a future release coming up?
Yes. I will release an upcoming version, the version 3.
Mhm.
Basically, in this version, you will have extended stats on segment efforts. Currently, you can get extended stats on a wall activity through the show extended stats button.
Nice.
And
Nice.
and tomorrow in version 3, you will be able to get the same results from various efforts on the same segment. So it's pretty useful to compare how you perform well or not on a segment at various dates.
Okay.
So you will be able to have the graph, the distribution graph, and table and matrix on different efforts from different activities, but on the same segment.
Nice.
It's pretty useful for me.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I think
think
that would be
it's
very
useful for every people.
right.
Yeah. Well,
So
It's
not just for the whole ride, but for a particular segment, those extended stats. That's great.
yes.
nice.
You can test. I will drop a link maybe
Okay.
for people who want to test the alpha version. There is a lot of technical. There is a lot of code change in that version. That's why I decided to enter in alpha, beta channel version before release stable version
Okay.
to make sure there is no any problem which could occur.
Right.
So because when I have problem with extension, I may lose some users, and that's not good.
Right.
Yeah. No. Definitely not. And how soon is this whatever version that you're calling going to roll out?
In January.
January.
Yes.
Okay.
This month.
Okay.
This one.
Perfect. Perfect. And
I wanted to push it for Christmas, but it was impossible for me.
sure. And
Right.
and if you could, if there's any way to make that link available over in the right column there where it says
Yes,
send a message, either plug that in.
I'm writing.
Okay.
Nice.
Perfect. And if you're not able to do that, just make sure that you send either Gunnar or myself an email. Oh, there. Oh, great. Perfect. Awesome. There you go.
There is the manual to install it.
Oh, nice.
It's
Awesome.
it's easy tips for newbies.
Great.
Like I write them.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Well, listen, Gunnar. We are at the top of the hour, and in respects to poor old Thomas, it's got to be what 4 a.m. in the morning. I mean, so Thomas, are you going back to bed and then you're going back to work? Look at him.
Yeah.
No, so Thomas, so when do you start work?
At 9
Okay, so
9 a.m.
so are you going out clubbing or are you going back to bed?
No, back to bed.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm dreaming my bed.
All right. Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. All right. Well, again, Gunnar, do you have anything else before we take everybody home tonight?
I don't have anything else. I just want to thank you so much, Thomas, for joining in our show
Thanks to you.
and talking to us about this this exciting plugin. I know, like I said, I've been using it for probably about a year, I believe, about a year, and I really enjoy it. I love it. I think it's a great plugin if you're using Strava. Anyone out there that's using Strava, go ahead and go to the Chrome store, get it, use it. You won't be able to imagine using Strava without it if you do that. So, and if you do enjoy what Thomas has put out, go ahead and click that donate button on his site and give him a couple bucks. He can buy some coffee or something so he can
Red
join
Bull.
our next show.
Drink more Red Bull. He'll be wide awake next time. No. All right. Well, again, let's take it home, folks. Thank you so much for your time and tuning in to Bike Chat. Again, your one-stop source for everything cycling related and more with your host, again, yours truly, Jonah DiPasquale, and co-host Gunnar Soros. Don't forget to tell a little bird, again, share this content out to your followers and viewers. Also, you can post conveniently now to Facebook as well. Again, on behalf of Gunnar, I want to also point out we do a great show on Tuesday evenings, Craft Beer Blab, Tuesday, 9 p.m., again, Eastern Standard Time, or 8 p.m. Central. Had a great show this past Tuesday, talked about barley wine, and boy, not so good of a pour that I had this week, and some of the cast of characters that were harassing me. Again, every Thursday, you know where to find us. Next week, actually, on Bike Chat, looks like we might have an open forum. Between now and then, I will be sure to let you guys know what is going on. But in the meantime, do not forget to give our good friend Thomas Champagne a follow. Also, again, those Strava users out there, be sure to check out Stravistix, the extension, the Chrome extension that looks and sounds like it will truly enhance your experience. So other than that, thank you so much. I'm going to take us off air and see you next Thursday.